Hello and welcome back to this video series where I'm trying to restore this 120 years old guitar. The last 5 or 6 videos that you saw in this series were made with material that I recorded earlier. So while for you it was kind of the present state of the guitar, for me it was a review from the past. But now the guitar is in the same state that I left at the end of the last video. So while in the last video I exactly know where the guitar was going to be at the end of it, I don't know what is going to happen at the end of this video. I mean, I have a plan in my head, but the plan changes because of my mood of the day or the problems that I found during the way. So this video is going to be kind of adventure for me as well. But no more talking and let's get started. So for a start I wanted to go somewhere else, and there was a problem in the headstock that needs to be fixed. This is one of the problems that the guitar came into the workshop in the first place, because this made the guitar unplayable. Take a look. If I place the tuner on the headstock and I use a ruler to help me, you can see that the angle that a string is going to make to reach the hole is going to be too obtuse, meaning that the tension over the nut is not going to be high enough. If that happens, two problems can happen. Probably the nut is going to bust, or the guitar is going to be completely unplayable because you can tune it. So to fix this, I need to fill all the holes in the headstock, both in the cedar and the rosewood. Then I have to make new holes. I had to sand everything flat, and also I need to remove the slack from the top and from the back and make new varnish again. So this was going to take me weeks to be fixed. So today, when I was thinking about the problem, I thought to myself that this guitar is more than 120 years old, and maybe the precision at that time, even is proving to be spot on elsewhere, maybe it's not that high level in the headstock. So I started to try the tuners in different holes, and to my surprise, if I place this in here, it's kind of acceptable. So I started to try others, and yeah, it works. Maybe this is too high. Yeah, this is good. This is too low. Too low. This is good. So eventually I came with a configuration that makes me feel comfortable about the tuners. So if I place the ruler, you can see that so far this is good enough. So what happens here is that the holes, the 6 holes, are different in diameter, but also the tuners are different in diameter. So you have to switch them to find which one goes in which hole, and there you go. This is good enough for the guitar to be strung. So lucky me, I saved weeks of work just by thinking twice over the problem. Job done. Believe it or not, time has come to think how the back is going to be glued into the guitar. But for that we had to face some troubles on the way. Now remember the position of the crossbars in the back, because I would like to show you something in detail. So if I place the back of the guitar, now take a look in here. Now you can see the crossbar here in detail and how it's touching the side of the guitar. Remember from previous videos that we need a little gap between the side and the crossbar to allow the wood to shrink a little bit if it goes that way. So that's a first symptom that we have to sand away a little bit of wood from the crossbar, but also if I place the binding that goes in there, you can see there is still a little gap. So that's the second reason why we have to sand a little bit of wood there. And the same goes all the 6 positions where the crossbar meets the side. Now that the sides are more or less in shape, I just place the guitar in the jig. So now I can remove the back of the guitar and hopefully everything is going to preserve that shape. And then I can start finally gluing the binding, which I have already cleaned. So as I said, the plan is to glue the rest of the binding to the side of the guitar, but this may cause a problem, and that is that if I take the back of the guitar as it is now, you can see here, yeah, I can glue the crossbars. This should be like this. This is a little bit embarrassing, but yeah. So instead I decided to glue the binding to the back of the guitar. That way the crossbars are not in the way anymore. But then I have to figure out how to glue the kerfing. But step by step. Well, this is looking good. Even better than I thought at the beginning, but there's a lot to be cleaned. But before cleaning everything, I'd like to make a press fit to see how everything goes. So now what I'm going to do is to remove the guitar from the jig, and I'm going to try to fit the back of the guitar into the guitar itself. It's hard to see on camera, but there are a lot of gaps and the two parts doesn't fit so well. So my hope is that with a little bit of heat and humidity I can get everything into shape properly. Well, 6 days later, this is what I have. The sides and the back now meet. It's not perfect yet, but eventually it will be. Everything went more or less as expected, but this side here, this curve was really hard to make, and as a result part of the binding has detached again, so I have to rebuild that part. But actually that is the bad thing about all of this. I buy it. I can remake the binding again. It's not something difficult to me at this point. So while I'm still working on shaping the sides of the guitar and the back, I'm going to go to another job. All of this, that is the kerfing of the back of the guitar. This I broke while detaching the back of the guitar to the guitar itself. At that time I thought that I could use my skills as making puzzles to rebuild everything to its original state. Fortunately I have been this whole week trying to do that, but it turns out to be impossible. There are though some pieces that, believe it or not, are really good. This is what I'm going to use as a template to make new kerfing. These little parts of the kerfing were very slightly glued to the guitar itself, and that's why it came in one piece instead of broken like everything else. What I'm going to use for this job is this piece of cedar. And after a lot of time of sewing and of sanding, I finally managed to make around 120 little pieces of cedar to make the kerfing. Then all those 120 pieces were all selected and shaped into its final destination. After that, all of them were glued to the back of the guitar using natural hide glue. But the pieces weren't glued flush with the back of the guitar, because that's almost impossible to be done. Instead of that, the pieces are proud, and then, after several pieces are glued in place, they are all sanded to make everything flush. You are watching the process in just maybe a couple of minutes, but in reality it took me several weeks from start to finish to make all the kerfing for the back of the guitar. I am, however, very proud of the final result, because I think it matched perfectly with the original design of the guitar. So this is the final result, and it's looking promising. Here everything looks pretty good. Some things are not perfect, like this curve in here, hard to see, but I need to push a little bit further the side of the guitar. This part of the top of the guitar is flat with the side, but this here is a little bit below. I think this is good enough to keep working everywhere else. And believe it or not, what I'm going to do next is to make a sound check. I thought that this moment would never come, but I'd like to see how the action works, and I'd like to see how the top of the guitar behaves now that the back is in place, kind of. But that is going to be in the next video, that probably is going to be the last one about this restoration, believe it or not. So hope to see you next time. Bye.